Hello everyone, how are you doing? So today we are going to talk about the journey from doubt to devotion. So I would love for you to let me know in comments, what does that mean to you when you hear those words, doubt to devotion? Does it resonate? Does it describe your journey? What do those words mean to you? Doubt to devotion. So, one of the biggest things that I see is women having doubts about their vision, their dream, their goal, their purpose, what they are meant for, what you are here for on this planet. And this can come out in various ways. So this doubt could manifest in terms of listening to the voices of others over your own, for example, right? We've all been there, right? I've deeply been there, which is this belief that someone else is the authority. Someone else knows more than we do. And of course, like this belief perpetuates like so many things in our society, right? So many things operate off someone externally being the authority rather than us. So the true path to our quantum alignment, to aligning every area of our lives, of our businesses, of our relationships, comes in transmuting and transforming that doubt into that space of authority, into that space of devotion. So this doubt energy can come in like someone else is the authority. And this might not even be a conscious thing. This could happen subconsciously without our awareness. And we might be labeling it surrender. We might just be saying, I'm just going with the flow, I'm chill, or like this kind of hippie vibe. We might just be saying, yeah, just go with the flow. But actually, that going with the flow hippie vibe is actually just a freeze response. We're not fully in our authority and we're listening to the voices of others over our own, okay? So that's one way that this doubt can come in. This doubt can come in when we up level, right? For anyone that's read The Big Leap, you know all about this. We do the thing, we up level, we might try something different in our business, and then it's like, it's not working. I'm doing all the things, but it's not working. I'm manically manifesting, but it's not working, right? So this doubt can also come in when we start to see that the 3D is slower than the 5D, and we're waiting for that thing to appear in the 3D, and we're saying, why isn't it here yet? And we start to have that doubt coming in. Why isn't it here yet? I'm manically manifesting, okay? And this can happen in so many ways, and we go deeper into this in my Magnetic Mastery course. This can happen in many ways. This can happen if we're not connecting to the right thing spiritually, if we've got energies that need clearing in us, if we're not being discerning, this doubt can come in as well. So, but it all ultimately comes back to being the authority, and knowing and trusting and having that quantum conviction on your mission, on your path, on your purpose here on the planet. Because the most successful women in this world, they know they are different. They know they have spent their lives feeling weird and different and feeling like an alien and wanting to go back to their home planet, right? But they know this is for a reason. They know that this is for a deeper purpose. And they know they need to move forward with that quantum conviction. And this moves into that energy of devotion. So let's talk a little bit about devotion. We talked a little bit about doubt. We all know that feeling of doubt. We all know that. And it exists on this like almost like as just a human only construct, and it's kind of a 3D layer construct, when it's like doubt only really appears in the 3D. It's like it's not happening, it's not showing up in the 3D, or you don't see it is showing up, but you don't see it showing up because you're missing it. You're missing it, okay? Because there's things that are blocking it. It might be your mindset, it might be energies, it might be shadows that are operating within you subconsciously. So like, if we only operate in the 3D realm, rather than thinking about energy in the quantum, this is when that doubt can manifest. But when you have true faith and trust in your vision, you have true faith and trust in the divine, in God, in what you're creating, and that the divine support is there, there is just no room for doubt. In energy, there is no room for doubt. You know it's done. You can feel it in your body. So what is devotion? So I ran a workshop recently called The Currency of Self-Devotion in Quantum Queen. If you want the replay of that, let me know. Come and join us in Quantum Queen. And the reason I called it The Currency of Self-Devotion is because it is truly a currency. And it's not just an energetic currency. Devotion is not just an energetic currency. Devotion actually gets you paid as well. So when we talk about devotion being the currency, we're not just saying it is an energetic currency, because it absolutely is. But the people that get paid the most and paid for aligned work, right? We've all done the thing, the pushing through, the misaligned careers, the misaligned businesses, but self-devotion is the currency. It is the currency of your soul, and you will be divinely compensated, divinely protected, divinely provided for from this energy of devotion. So devotion exists in the 5D. It is a 5D and above frequency. Self-care is like a 3D energy. Let me know in comments, can you feel the difference between self-care, or perhaps needs or desires, and self-devotion? Self-devotion. Can you, even just in the words, you can feel the difference in that energy? Because the word devotion, the frequency of devotion, is an energetic frequency that exists in higher levels of consciousness. So when we devote, and magical things happen in the energy of devotion as well. When we start to tap into that currency of self-devotion, and like I say, if you want to go deeper into this energetic frequency of devotion, there is the replay in Quantum Queen. Come and join us in Quantum Queen. When we tap into this currency of self-devotion, we start to have this incredible impact on the world. So many of us have had the old paradigm way of being, of we must give to others over ourselves, we must sacrifice ourselves. And what we start to find is when we tap into the energy of devotion and the currency of self-devotion, we start to give to others in ways we never ever thought possible. So a real life example of this is by tapping into that energy of self-devotion, I have recently been able to give to my family. It's actually like going to make me emotional. I've been able to give to my family in ways that I never thought were possible. I see my niece, I see my nephew, and I think I want them to have a different life. I don't want them to go through what I went through. And my nephew in particular, he's neurodivergent. I can see a lot of like similar traits in him that I had in me. And from being in that space of self-devotion, I have been able to impact the lives of my mum, my dad, my sister, my niece and nephew in ways that I never thought were possible. And there was a time in my life where I didn't speak to my family for a bit, and that was required for my healing. That was a self-devotional space, and truly committing to that, where in that time in my life, and again, self-devotion is also not making it right or wrong or mean anything as well. So when I was going through that phase in my life where I was living on a goat farm, which was just crazily hilarious. I would look out the window and see all the little baby goats. And I remember I said to my family that I'd left my marriage and I'd gone to live on a goat farm. I think they thought I was completely and utterly insane. They were like, "You're what? You've run away to a goat farm." But that was the most self-devotional aligned decision that I've ever made. That was the best space to grow my business. I had this gorgeous cottage that just had so much light. It looked out over the goats. There was a farm shop on the farm where I could just walk across from the cottage. I just walked across a car park and I had access to like all the fresh fruit and vegetables in the world. That space of self-devotion and taking myself there, like not knowing where that was going to end up, not knowing that the other side of that was my business growing, meeting my soulmate. Like I did not know what was on the other side of that. So despite my family thinking I was totally and utterly crazy, I was in that space of self-devotion. And again, this is not making this right or wrong either. So many people said to me around this time, you shouldn't isolate yourself. You're going to be lonely. Loneliness isn't good for mental health, blah, 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 right? So I started to make it wrong. Oh, maybe I shouldn't be such a hermit. Maybe I should say yes to more social events. Maybe this is where that doubt comes in. It's the voices of others. And thankfully, thank God, I did not listen to those voices of others, because I truly knew that's what my body was telling me. It was like, this is the hermit phase. This is the time where we get in touch with my energy. I get in touch with my energy and I truly understand who I am, what I need, what my needs, what my desires are. I self-devote, I commit to myself, and then I move out from that space. And moving out from that space and moving into this next phase has meant that I have been able to develop these deep levels of self-devotion, which has meant I've been able to give to my family in ways that I never, ever even thought possible. And I don't mean just financially, I mean emotionally. So my parents were going through something quite big last week, and I was able to go and be there for them because I have designed that life and that business from that space of self-devotion. So what you start to find is when you move into this energy of devotion, it is a currency, because you naturally start to give to others. The women in my spaces who are committing to this self-devotional energy, the impact that they are having on the world, what they are doing in communities, and the way that they are giving to others is absolutely phenomenal. Beyond anything that I ever thought was possible. So when we move into this space of, I am the authority, I know what is right for me, I know my energy most over all else, I know what I need, and I'm going to operate from that self-devotional space. It's almost like this energy of, well, just watch me, just watch what's going to happen. And I promise you, like, when this happens, and let me know in comments if this is you, if this has happened to you as well. I had someone recently share this, that when they really went into this self-devotional energy, this is when their business shifted. This is when they met their soulmate. This is when they started to publish books. Like, this is truly, truly magical, when we get into this energy of devotion, because it is an energetic currency. I hope that makes sense. So we need to move from that space of any doubt, anywhere we feel we're not the authority, into true devotion. And that is also devotion to others as well. And so as I've shared, like when we get into this currency of devotion, it naturally ripples out into others anyway. We naturally start to give, even if we're just, sometimes I'm out walking the dog, and when I'm in that vibration, when I'm in that energy, I actually really love, like when I have really hermity times, when I'm like on my own. So today, this is my friend's house, and I come here one day a week to look after her animals, and I work here, and this I have created from the energy of self-devotion. And I'm on my own all day. It is peaceful. There is green everywhere when I look outside, and I go out and I walk the dog, and then I see people, and I have just these little micro moments of interaction with other dog walkers, and I love it. I love it. Even if that currency is I'm giving someone a smile, or I'm laughing at the dog. Like, does anyone else's dog do this? Where there's a path, where there's only room for one person really to go through, I will like tuck in and let the people and the dogs go past. She refuses to tuck in. I've tried all the words. I've tried move, I've tried tuck in. None of the words work for her, unless I like physically move her out of the way. So I have these little like micro moments of interaction with the community where I'm like, sorry, she doesn't know how to get out of the way, and they have to kind of step over her. She's a bit of a trip hazard. And I love that. I love that like deep hermit time where I don't see anyone, and there's just me in my energy, and then I can go out into the community. Or it might be, hopping into my Quantum Queen membership, doing a voice note for my ladies, doing a training, hopping on live like I am today. And you start to realize that it is your energy that shifts others. This is an energy first reality, and that really is the currency. But this is really what creates that quantum alignment for you. This is what creates the life that you deserve and desire, and that you've been worthy of from the day that you were born. You were born completely worthy of having all your needs met and having these amazing dreams. And let me know in comments, like, what did you love when you were little? What did you love? What were the things you loved? What were the things that you played? So one of my things is I used to love horses. Well, I still do love horses, but I used to play horse jumps in the garden. I used to make my sister jump over, like I used to put little like sticks and things out as horse jumps. And we used to always play horses, pretend to be horses in the school playground with my friends. We used to jump over. They were quite high. I don't know how we did this, because I was terrible at long jump in high school. Not long jump, high jump. Terrible, because I'm short. But we used to jump over these benches in the schoolyard and pretend they were horse jumps. And I just loved horses. I wanted to live on a farm, and I fulfilled that ambition in 2021 when I lived on the goat farm. But I lost that dream. I didn't think it was possible. And I can remember my granddad used to give me and my sister pocket money. He used to give us £5 a month, which was a lot of money at the time. It was a lot of money, especially at that age. He used to give us £5 a month that we could spend on whatever we wanted to spend on. And my horse riding lessons were £7 for one lesson, which I wanted to do weekly, of course. So very quickly, what started to happen with my dream was you don't quite have enough. You don't quite have enough. So I would have to save up. Like if I got money for my birthday, I would have to not spend it on anything else and save that up and put that with my pocket money so that I could have a riding lesson. we didn't have a lot of money. My parents used to pay for my swimming lessons, and you know, they did have a valid point. They would say, like, horse riding is not a useful skill in this society, but swimming is. If you want a boat and you fall off, okay, so we'll pay for your swimming, but we won't pay for your horse riding. You're going to have to pay for that yourself. So I started then very quickly with this dream, kind of going, well, I don't quite have enough. I don't quite have enough for my dreams. And this played out in so many ways in my life, with my money stories around, in so many ways of like, don't quite have enough, or I just have enough to pay for this thing. So I've had to do a whole load of rewiring around that. But the truth was, right, the truth is that we're born in this self-devotional state. We're born knowing, like, I deeply knew it was like, I love being around horses, I love being around animals, and I deserve to have that. But it's only life that conditions us out of it. And I can't remember the point I was going to make when I went off on one about horses. Actually, can't remember. But I can also remember this coming in my neurodiversity as well. And it was I think I was about 5, the first time I realised I was different to all the other kids. I think I was about 5, where I started to realise I wasn't like everybody else, and I started to make that mean something, and I started to make that mean something negative, and that I didn't deserve what the other kids had. This was then perpetuated by bullying as well, which is why I'm so passionate about supporting my niece and nephew. This was then perpetuated by bullying, and the things that the bullies said, this went deeply into my mind. I had to recondition all of that. And, you know, this has really come into shadow work and nervous system rewiring into this energy of devotion. I know what I was going to talk about, body truth. So we know deeply when we're born, when we're little, and we're doing the things that we love. And let me know in comments, because this is also likely your strengths, okay? These are the things, like from a neuroscience point of view, everyone has their things that they are naturally good at, that they find energizing. My clients will know this, those of you that have done strengths profiles with me, the things that you find energizing and you're good at, like these will usually be things that you did when you were younger, okay? So you know what is right for you, you know what feels good for you. And on this path of self-devotion, it is about listening to our bodies over all else. So yes, tuning out the external noises and voices and judgments of others, of course, but it's body rather than mind. And this is another thing, right? We're born, we listen to our bodies, we get hungry, we cry, we need to sleep, we cry. Like, we are body-led beings when we are born. And then life conditions this out of us. Society conditions this out of us into being mind-led, into being logic-led. And my most vivid example of this was when there's a lady walking her dog and I think the dog just stopped and just stared at me through the window for ages, and then the lady looked at what the dog was looking at, and the lady and the dog just stood staring at me like this. I was like, hi, they're gone now. This does happen to me, this does happen. I sometimes say to people, do you want to be on my video? So what was I saying? So your body knows the truth, okay? And it is about deconditioning. Oh yeah, TEDx. So this was the biggest example of this, was when I applied for TEDx. Despite everyone around me saying, what are you doing? Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to put this pressure on yourself? You have to memorize your entire talk on that stage. I had 7.5 minutes for my TEDx, and I had to remember it word for word. And they corrected a lot of my words, and there's certain things I had to say to follow the rules, right? Just I don't want to follow the rules, but it's fine because I got to do TEDx. Anyway, so everyone was like, are you sure you want to do this? Put a lot of pressure on yourself, going through this application process, like going through the event, like it's very, very full on, this process. And despite everyone saying this to me, everything inside of me was like, yes, 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 yes. Get on that stage. And there was 23,000 people that were watching in the room and online. To get on that stage and to share my message in front of 23,000, do I want to do that? Hell yes. Hell yes, because this is bigger than me. This is bigger than my fear. This is bigger than my anxiety. I know that this is deeply what I'm here for. I need people to hear my voice. I need to speak. No matter how uncomfortable that feels, I have to do that. And when I got that email through to say, you've made it through to the final 30 out of 400 applicants, my whole body expanded. And I got this like lifted yes feeling in my body. And as soon as I knew, and sometimes we know, right, when things are final, when things are definite, if we're not sure, when we get that confirmation of something happening, you will feel that in your body. And I've also had the opposite happen. I've also had the opposite where I've gone like, no, I've got through to this thing and I don't think it's alignment for me, okay? But with TEDx, it's like, yes, 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 yes. And so from that day, I started to follow my body more and more and more, even when it didn't make sense. Even in my corporate job, when I thought I was going to get a sack, I actually experimented with things thinking, I know I need to follow my body. I know this is bigger than me, but I've not operated in this way before. And there's a chance I might get the sack. And I thought, well, let's just test it with a few smaller things. And what happened is I actually got a bonus and my performance skyrocketed. And my boss said, something in you has changed. And I'm giving you a bonus because everyone is just saying, you're just transforming the lives of the leaders that you're working with. Like, what on earth is happening? And I said, I'm just following my body, just working in alignment with my authentic self. And he was like, you do more of it. Full permission. Okay. And that is what led to me then leaving that corporate and moving fully into my soul aligned business as well. And I was a mindfulness teacher at the time. All I did was teach mindfulness courses. And this also led to that. This led to me going, there's more. There's more. I'm not using all of my gifts and my skills. There is more here. So time to go all in. So I followed my body in all of those instances, okay? So your body will know what is right for you, what is on your timeline. And remember the gut. So if you're getting that, for me, it is like a gut response. It is a gut yes or no feeling. And a little bit of technical kind of sciencey bit here. Why the gut? So I actually found this out after doing a session with a client where we were doing quantum healing and we were specifically working on her gut. So the reason the gut is so important and the reason why gut health is so important is because the gut is conscious. The gut is conscious. The gut is the second brain. The gut operates like the brain and it has a consciousness. And the gut and the brain obviously connect through the vagus nerve. But what is happening when we get that gut response is the consciousness of the gut is connecting to how that particular choice is going to play out for us. You could see it like a flow chart. So the gut is going, okay, if we make this decision, like where's this going to go? Does that feel expansive? Is that going to work out for the best for us? If that is a yes, if you imagine that flow chart, if that is a yes, that signal comes back to the gut and gives you the yes response. Similar being, if you tune in with that gut response and it's like a no, you're getting a like constricted no, not just a like a fear or resistance to like showing up type thing, but an actual like, no, this is not for me. This is not for me. It's because that gut consciousness, that second brain, is feeling that possibility and going, does that feel right for me? Going up the flow chart or down the flow chart, however you like to see it. Going down the flow chart, and then it's like, no, actually this is going to happen. So that is a no. And then it's relaying that information back. Okay, so this is why the interaction between like gut health and consciousness and like listening to your body is all interconnected. Okay, so your gut, I literally see it like, you know, the synapses in the brain. We can see it like that in the gut. Okay, it is the gut response is a consciousness. It is responding. So when you listen to your body will never take you somewhere you're not meant to be. And this takes courage. This takes bravery. And this takes courage to follow that. To follow that yes, to follow that no. Despite what anyone thinks, despite what anyone says, despite anyone's judgments of you. Despite your own judgments of yourself, right? And the ways that you self-sabotage and you hold yourself back. It takes courage. And if you remember, the word courage comes from cœur, which means heart in French. Courage is heart-centered. So sometimes we do the big things, we take the leaps. Every time I've taken the leap in alignment with my body, the net has always appeared. Even at one point where I was effectively homeless, I was homeless. I left the home that I owned. I left my ex in the house and I just took the leap, not knowing where I was even going to live. The net appeared, the people appeared, the houses appeared every single time. So sometimes that body truth will lead us to a really big leap where we just know, like it is like a universal dump truck moment. If we don't take that leap, then something will happen, we will get ill, like something will happen to push us into alignment. And sometimes, remember, courage, cœur, heart-centered, sometimes it is those tiny, small, 1% corrections of the compass direction, the 1% bravery today, the 1% bravery tomorrow, that bring you into that quantum alignment with where you're meant to be. Just, you know, if you think about the ship following the compass direction, I'm sure you've all seen this analogy, you know, just the slight little tweak off course can send you in an entirely wrong direction. So you might be watching this and thinking, you know full well there's a big leap that you need to make. Or you might be watching this and thinking like, how can I refine that compass direction? How can I get fully into my quantum alignment? And either way, the answer comes from listening to your body, from knowing that you are the authority, your body is the authority, and you know what is right for you. And if you are not following that body, or it doesn't feel safe to follow the body, this is where the nervous system work comes in. So not taking any action at all is like a freeze response. And so many people label this as surrender. I'm just chill, mate. I'm just chill, just in surrender. I'm just being really chill. But no, it's actually just a freeze because you're not making forward momentum. You're not making forward movement because the body's saying it's not safe. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no right or wrong. But we do need to move up the dorsal vagal ladder. And then of course we've got flight as well, which could look like, this could look like making misaligned leaps. So this was when I came off Facebook. This is when I shut down my group that had 1,000 women in it. Was just like, I'm burning the whole thing to the ground. This is not working. And this was all because I was being energetically attacked. I have to be very careful what I say on here. But this, you know, this world I've come back to is a different space. But this is when I shut that group down because I was like, F this shit. I'm like, if I'm not allowed to do my soul aligned work, then why do I'm not even going to bother, goodbye. Okay, so flight can also look like that. Or flight can look like, I mean, that was moving in the opposite direction to my goals, of course. Flight could look like just taking action for the sake of taking action. And fight, you know, moving up that ladder also into fight. Fight could be like rather than we call it like the silent mystic energy, okay? So I follow my body truth, I follow that yes, I'm like yes and no. Fight could be like no, and the reason I'm saying no is because you have done XYZ, okay? So fight could be almost like a bit too fiery with that body truth yes and no. And trust me, I've been there. I've been there. So when I started to practice my no and following that no, despite how difficult that was for me at the time, there were times where I felt I had to really justify that no or make an excuse. And there were times where I was actually very justifiably angry that someone had even asked me the thing. Perhaps it was, another favour, another thing that someone wanted me to do that was not in alignment for me. And that came out as fight. That came out as quite a fiery no. Like, no, how many times do I have to tell you no? Instead of just like, no. No is a full sentence, okay? So if we're not, like, you know your body truth, but if you're not following that, then that comes into some nervous system regulation. And I've just popped in diaries, actually. Those that are in Quantum Queen, we're doing our next quantum breathwork session, which is going to give you that somatic practice to help regulate your nervous system and give you that practice to release somatically from your body and come into that space of regulation. We're doing that in a couple of weeks. So if you want to come in and join us in that, let me know. I can send you the details. Because this is really important. It's not just knowing the body truth and feeling that devotion and feeling this is the space of devotion that I require, desire. We really want to be desire towards strategy. What do I desire? What am I calling in? What feels really self-devotional for me today? And you will probably find it goes above and beyond what you ever thought as well. So the amount of self-devotion that I need, let alone even desire, okay, is so much more than I ever thought. And where I've made big leaps in my business, it has been from that space of like everything out, like no, yes. I'm sure do you know what I mean by that? Does that make sense? Okay. Like, no, I'm not going to do the social event. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that favour someone's asked me to do. I'm not going to go to that event. I'm not going to do that thing. I'm going all in on this, and this is what I'm doing. And that has led to the big leaps. Okay. It's been following that yes and following that no. And every time, without fail, every time I've wanted a no, I've received money. And I thought this was absolutely insane. I was like, surely this is just a coincidence. But no, every time without fail, this happens. Even like completely random. So not even client payments, not even, I've sent an invoice and I'm expecting a payment. Like complete magic money out of nowhere. So I'm sure you've heard this story before. I wasn't feeling 100% and I had an invite to go out for a meal. The restaurant didn't particularly do healthy food. It wasn't really the nicest environment. I felt an obligation to go, but I knew fully it was not in alignment for me. My body was saying no. And I tested it and I said, no, I'm not coming. And nothing happened. No one even cared that I wasn't even there. No one even cared. They just went off and had a nice meal without me. I got to sit on the sofa and eat vegetables, which is like exactly what I wanted. And nothing happened. And here's the magic. They got in the car to leave. They picked up my partner, got in the car to leave. The moment they all left, I got a message, and it was from my mum saying, I've just transferred you some money into your account from your grandmother. Out of the blue, my grandmother had thought of me and decided to send me some money. Out of the blue, the moment I had said no. And this has happened to me more times than I can ever remember. And the reason why I believe this works is because if you think about your flow of energy, your forward momentum as like a river, the flow of a river. Each time you say yes when you mean no, that is an energy leak. So the river starts to create these little streams coming off it of energy leaks. And of course, what happens when the little streams start to come off the river, it slows the river down. There's less energy moving down that river. Whereas when you honour that no and you say no, you create little dams. You create little dams along the river that block those streams, and your riverbanks get like this. And what happens with a higher riverbank? Even more water, even more flow towards what you desire. So if you are closing down your energy leaks, and your energy leaks could even be something like a friend who messages you a lot and asks for your advice. Like, do you hop on and help them throughout the day because you love helping them? Or do you make yourself like not available for that, or only available to help your friend at like a certain time of day? Okay, it could be anything. Okay, but when you start to do that and honor that no, the energy can pick up, the pace of the river can pick up towards what you desire, and it also creates a void space. It creates a tension. So devotion creates this tension, like good tension, not bad tension, not like, oh, I've got a headache, I've got tension, right? Good tension. When you're in this space of self-devotion, you enter this void space and you start to feel like, I know for me, certainly, the cat is distracting me right now. He's outside in the sunshine having a lovely time. When you go into this energy of self-devotion, I can't remember what I was going to say. I was distracted by the cat. Let me think. It was about the tension. Yeah. So when you go into this energy of self-devotion, when you know that you're there and you're vibrating at that level, you go into a void space. You go into this void space, and what this means energetically is you're so self-devotional that you have pulled all your energy back to you. So any like energetic cords or anything are back to you. Your energy is clear. You don't have any energy drains or any energy leaks, and you've got the riverbanks up and your river is just flowing in the direction. But this can feel like a void space. And I know when I get into this space, when I start to feel bored, I start to feel a bit bored. I start to feel like I should be doing something, and I start to have a desire to connect. I feel almost a bit lonely, and I get this desire to like pick up my phone and message a friend. That's how I know I'm in the void space. If I pick up my phone and message a friend, I get out of the void space. If I start creating videos, putting content out, I get out of the void space. Instead of pulling back and sitting in that space of self-devotion. And when you do this, it starts to create energetic tension. If you can hold the void, holding the void is an incredible thing. It is an incredible technique, and it takes strength, determination, and courage to do this. But if you can hold the void and just be, you will find, the dog is snoring, that is not me making that noise, if you can hear that. You will find that you will just start to magnetize everything to you. This is when the magic money comes. This is when the magic clients come out of nowhere. This is when the opportunities land in your lap. This is when everything comes to you, because it is the energetic tension that is bringing it to you, because you're in that devotional space. When you're in doubt energy, you're never in the void. Because in doubt, you're like, is it this, is it that? Is it, I don't know. But when you are in devotion, you are in full energetic sovereignty, And when you hold that void, that is when the magic happens. So the next workshop we're actually doing in Quantum Queen is all about energetic sovereignty. It's called Sovereign. I'm so excited we're going to be going deeper into this. So if you want in on that, let me know. So what could doubt to devotion look like for you today? How could you anchor in even just 1% more self-devotion today? What would that look like if you chose yourself fully? I know that you love to give to others. I know that you're kind and caring and empathetic. What would it take if you knew that 1% devotion, 1%, even just 1% more devotion, even 1% more devotion today meant that the impact that you could have on loved ones and the impact that you could have on the world was exponential. I feel like I say that weirdly, exponential, exponential. If you knew that that self-devotion would be exponential for the amount you can give back to the world and to your family and your friends or whoever, to your animals, like I want to give to my animals, okay? If you knew, what would that take? What would it take to be even just 1% more self-devotional today? And on that note, I'm going to go and lay down under a blanket for the rest of the afternoon. And if anyone has any questions, let me know. And if this is calling you and you would love to work together, you can come into the Quantum Queen membership, which I'll pop the link to below, or ask me about quantum alignment, because I'm currently just working through what the next round of that is going to look like. It's going to be slightly different. It's going to be up-leveled. But this is about quantum aligning every area of your life and business and aligning you to your soul's work, to your own modality that you are here to do in the world. So if any of those are calling you, I'll pop the links in comments. Message me about quantum alignment, because I'm currently in the reworking process with that at the moment. And of course, the Quantum Conviction Workshop, which was last week. The replay of that is still available. It is half the investment of the workshop cost at the moment to watch the replay of that. I'll pop all the links below. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Enjoy the rest of your